A story that's really caught my eye, so it has. There's a lady, Natalie Barnett she's called. She's what we call these days a fitness influencer, passionate about sports and so on and so forth. She's decided to open a women-only gym. Nothing controversial about that, you'd think to yourselves, wouldn't you? But oh no, this lady has been absolutely battered by activists online, calling her all names under the sun. She's had to restrict her account. It's got so nasty and so out of control that because this lady is trying to do this, and she's explaining that she feels that women need a safe space to be able to work out, have their own space, get changed, and so on and so forth. Now, I went to my gym very recently, actually, and I went into the female-only changing room. So imagine my surprise when there was a male in the changing room that I was in, the female-only changing room, and I went to the gym and I asked them their policy. What is your policy for the female changing rooms? And it was so bizarre. So they sent me an email basically saying that they were welcoming and inclusive. And I said, well, that's really interesting, but what is your policy when it comes to your changing rooms? And I got this email back. Take a look at this email. So this was from one of the managers at the gym. They said, "Hi, Michelle, I hope this email reaches you well. The changing rooms are split between female and male, with children attending up to the age of 8 years old of a different gender. No problems with that. For the female changing rooms in particular, though, this would cover females of all ages, boys up to the age of 8 years old, transgender females and non-binary members." I hope this helps you. And if you've got any further questions, I can help support you with this. And I'm sorry, but this made me really uncomfortable, because what this gym, Virgin Active, in case you're wondering, is actually telling me as a member is that the single-sex female changing room is nothing of the sort. So, yeah, little boys with their mum, no problems. Yes, obviously female. When you start getting into the territory of, I quote, non-binary members and such like can enter this female changing room, you've lost me at this point, because now this isn't a safe single-sex space. This is a space where any member, a man, can just go into the changing room, tell me that he's a non-binary person, and in he goes. I'm really not comfortable with that. And suffice to say, everybody, I went on and cancelled my membership as a result of that. Where do you stand on this kind of thing?
I think it's absolutely appalling. I think the gyms in question and any other organisation are reneging on their responsibilities. The responsibility that you have, whether you are a government organisation or a private business, is to ensure if you have customers, I was in the airline industry, that your primary purpose is to safeguard. And therefore, if you are allowing men, biological men, which is what we're talking about, into a women-only changing room or toilets and everything that goes with that, then you are reneging your responsibility. I personally am sick and tired of all of this. It's been going on now for quite a few years. You never have the reverse. You never see an issue where you've got a male changing room and the men are complaining because, you know, women are coming in, a transgender man, because there's never a fuss. They seem to behave themselves very well. This is always about biological men, and it's about power. And it's about, you've only got to see this tribunal that's been going on in Scotland with the nurses, Sandy Peggy, and somebody imposing their will. And it's just really not acceptable. And I would cancel my membership, and I would have sent them an email back, because they are supposed to be there and ensuring...
Don't you worry about that.
I'm sure you did.
I can imagine that it was quite a firm email back.
I'm sure you did, but I cannot comprehend for the life of me how these businesses haven't got it at this moment in time. We have lobbied and we have lobbied, and we've done it for sports. The one great thing President Trump's done as he's come in, he's turned around in the United States and he said there's two sexes, there's male, female. If you want to be in a sport, if you want to be in a gym, if you want to be somewhere, you go to the appropriate place. That is what you do. And it's about time this was all toughened up. And as I said, I'm sick of these misogynistic blokes who are really intimidating women and girls, and it's totally unacceptable.
Matt Lazar.
So, I think the problem I have with that is when it said about non-binary people. I mean, we have had now for basically a quarter of a century the Gender Recognition Act, which means you can legally change your gender. Very small number of people do it. It's basically been supported historically by all parties. The difference now is the self-identification, which is the issue, which is people are non-binary. If you want to call yourself non-binary, that's fine. I've got friends who do call themselves non-binary, but they should still go into the changing rooms which is their birth gender, because they haven't changed gender. They're just, they want to be called and trendy and call themselves non-binary. Well, that's fine, but still use the male or the female changing rooms as appropriate. And I think that's the issue I have, is that it's just, you shouldn't be about, if you've legally changed your gender, which is, say, is a very small number of people, then that's one thing. But anybody just fancies going in a different changing room because today's Tuesday.
The genuine, when you interview genuine trans people, as I say, they're often a bit older and they've gone through a very, very difficult time. And they are the ones that turn around and say, they are the ones that turn around and say that there are male and female changing room sports, all sorts of things, for very, very good reasons, and they fully understand it. The problem we have is these trans activists. These are activists and they're male. And they want to impose their will. We've seen it. They've tried to play the game with prisons, where they play the game now. They try and play the game in the courts, or all of a sudden, a woman was raped by a woman in Scotland. Well, the woman in Scotland wasn't a woman. The woman was a man. A woman cannot legally rape another woman. I mean, and they think the public are stupid and we don't quite get it. And they're trying to make this become the norm. It's not the norm. It is not the norm. And self-identification, I'm afraid, in these cases, cannot be allowed to happen. In my view, it would be illegal. If a male imposed himself in a female space, then to me they are breaking the law. We have had laws down for indecency, and we've had laws on the statute book for centuries to protect women, to protect children, and they need to use them.
Well, look, I'll read out someone that completely disagrees with me. Reggie wrote that this is what you're suggesting basically positions trans women as aggressors, which is nasty. The reason why women don't feel safe in the gym is not because of trans women. To exclude them is to liken them to cis men, which is just transphobic. Now, let me be absolutely clear. I don't want to exclude anybody from the gym. I don't want to remove rights or anything like that from anybody. Everyone is welcome to go and do a spin class or whatever it is that they want. That's not my issue here. I also don't subscribe to language such as cis this and cis that, because I don't kind of agree with so much of this narrative. I don't believe that you can change your sex. When you're talking to me about gender and all the rest of it, I've got no issues with how people want to identify their own gender, but single-sex spaces should literally be, in my opinion anyway, based on biological sex, which is something that with all the will in the world you simply cannot change, and truth matters. There's a lot of gaslighting going on, Matthew Lars. There was a case where somebody was raped on a hospital ward. That person was told that no rape happened because there wasn't a male on that ward, because they were using
Baroness Nicholson sorted that out. She investigated that.
I mean, look, the people who've had actual gender reassignment, I think, should be allowed to use female changing rooms, but not blokes.
Why don't they just make a unisex changing room in addition, and then there's no issue?
Look, I've got to say, I did indeed reach out to Virgin Active for comment. They didn't provide us with a comment, but the comment that they gave to me as an individual member was more than enough. If you don't provide single-sex female spaces where women such as myself can get changed without men being able to pretend to be something they're not and watch us getting undressed, then quite frankly, you are not the gym for me. So I did indeed bid them farewell.